2018 Mercedes-Benz S-Class car review. While using bus is all about as far as anybody can get from traveling via Mercedes-Benz S-Class, that tagline is also appropriate for the newest version on the grandiose Big Benz. For 2018, the S-Class sees a mid-cycle update that literally brings powertrain changes, interior and exterior design tweaks, and, most of all, enhanced semi-autonomous driving functions. The good points of 2018 Mercedes-Benz S-Class: improved autonomous driving capability, opulent interior, polished powertrains. The bad points of 2018 Mercedes-Benz S-Class: heavy and feels it, creeping passivity. More cruising. In the revolutionary 2018 S-Class, the cruise control automatically adjusts its speed for curves, intersections, modifications to the speed limit, and toll plazas. Its knowledge with the terrain will be based upon GPS data. This goes a stride beyond the functionality previously offered inside the midsize S-Class. The net effect is the fact that one can use cruise control, and its attendant steering assist function, much more regularly on secondary roads and not on highways. This could possibly be the biggest increase in cruise control since adaptive cruise allowed drivers make use of the feature in high traffic, given that drivers get more comfortable with it. It is usually a little harder to trust than simple adaptive cruise control. With the car to use default comfort driving mode, the cruise control will slow considerably for curves, more so than you could possibly on your own, before quickly excel back towards the set speed. In Sport or Sport Plus, however, it doesn't slow the maximum amount of and carries more momentum through corners. That aspect works fine, but what's somewhat disconcerting is finding out how to trust the automobile to slow by itself when approaching intersections, for the reason that driver has to be watchy to brake for oncoming traffic for a yield as well as to brake for just a stop at the stop sign. If there's no oncoming traffic at the yield, no braking is necessary. The motorist can stay off of the brakes and let your vehicle do it all. If a person must brake with a yield or to get a stop, the driving force afterward has to hit the resume button to reactivate cruise control. The resume along with other cruise control switches have moved for the left spoke in the steering wheel. MB's stock-mounted controls are not anymore. In addition to slowing for curves or intersections about the current road, if the driving force indicates a turn onto a side street or to a parking lot, the automobile again will automatically slow for doing this. Another major enhancement over last year's S-Class is the fact that the semi-autonomous steering now can start a lane change. The driver activates the turn signal, along with the steering assist can make the lane change, provided the adjacent lane you can see. If not, the automobile will cancel the turn signal and wait to interchange lanes. When it's clear within just a few seconds or so, the device will automatically reactivate the turn signal and steer in the adjacent lane. The instrument cluster indicates what's happening. Autonomous lane changing works only on multi-lane roads. It doesn't execute a spread tool on road. Engines of change. Other changes towards this class tends to be more notable whenever a human is control, using the biggest found beneath the hood. A new base model S450 employs a V6 engine making 362 horsepower from 3.0 liters and a couple turbochargers. The mainstay S550 becomes the S560, resurrecting a long-time S-Class model number, as its twin-turbo V8 increases in output whilst it decreases in displacement. Its previous 449 horsepower 4.7-liter V8 is supplanted by the 4.0-liter beneficial to 463 horsepower and 516 lb-ft of torque. The AMG versions retain their S63 and S65 model names. The 8-cylinder S63 downsizes its V8 from 5.5 liters to the brand new 4.0 liter shared while using S560. AMG, however, seems to extract 603 horsepower and 664 lb-ft from those 4 liters, a gain of 26 horsepower on the old 5.5-liter engine. Torque is unchanged. The S65 retains its V12, which evidently has plateaued at 621 horsepower and 738 lb-ft. That V12 also appears within the S650 Maybach. Not yet for market is a fresh inline E6 engine by having an electric supercharger and also a conventional turbo, an incorporated 48-volt starter alternator, and direct drive accessories. There will be a diesel inline E6 that we'll probably never see in America. We drove the S560 plus the S63, which arrive on our shores this fall. Despite not getting a whole new model designation, the S63 has more mechanical changes. In addition to the newest engine, it trades its 7-speed automatic transmission for the 9-speed unit. Its standard all-wheel drive system, 4MATIC Plus, comes with a variable front-rear split. The S560 retains the fixed, rear-biased 4MATIC system, but it's optional. Trundling through town, the S63's new transmission never betrays it's not enough a torque converter. The 9-speed, which can be coupled for the engine which has a clutch pack, is smooth and well-mannered. Pull out to pass from the S63, and it also is like getting punted from behind. The gearbox instantaneously drops a number of gears, and also the engine's forceful wave of torque rockets you ahead. In Sport and Sport Plus modes, the motorist must dig as deeply in the accelerator go to get a downshift or two, which seems about right. So, too, maybe the measured, progressive throttle response. Don't worry that this is really a relatively small engine making big power because of 2 turbos. The S560 runs on the 9-speed automatic, too, but this place has a conventional torque converter. Its downshifts in reply to a mashed accelerator are simply fractionally less immediate compared to S63's, along with the resulting rush of acceleration is even less frenetic. Mercedes puts the S560's 0 to 60 mph time at 4.5 seconds and also the S63's at 3.4. When it comes time to completely clean off speed, the important brakes are simple to modulate. Should you fail make use of them, the automated emergency foot brake now can avoid a collision with another car or even a pedestrian at higher speeds. And if the truck attempts to swerve around an obstacle, the steering will assist in evasive maneuver. Aside on the option of a curve tilting function about the S560, the magic body control active suspension adjusts to lean into corners. It's provided with rear drive only. There's not very much new from the way the fundamental Benz rides and handles. Both variants have nicely sorted driving modes, without jarring steps from one on the other: Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and Individual. Inside the S63, the S560 trades Sport Plus for Eco mode. The creamy yet precise steering isn't overboosted even at low speeds in Comfort, also it seamlessly builds effort should you toggle with a sportier setting. Similarly, the chassis that may be compliant in Comfort firms up somewhat in Sport but doesn't get flinty even within the S63's Sport Plus. This is often a big, heavy car, however, and even from the AMG in their firmest setting, an example may be keenly mindful of that mass when diving into tight corners. This class is supremely capable, particularly the S63, but you wouldn't think of it as playful. Screen gems. If it's amusement you're in search of, you would possibly find it inside Wonderland. That could be the Benz's wide-screen digital dashboard display. The previous two of 12.3-inch TFT screens are actually housed together to seem as a single unit. The center screen's functions are navigated through the familiar command console, a mounted wheel and touchpad, or with a tiny touch-sensitive nub for the right spoke in the steering wheel. You swipe across it or up or down together with your thumb, then press it to select, which sounds fussy, truly is pretty easy make use of. A similar nub within the left side controls what on earth is displayed from the virtual gauge cluster, that is set up in 3 different formats: Sporty, Classic, and Progressive. Some new discoveries. The S63 features a track pace menu within the center screen that will record lap times. A drag race page can measure acceleration, quarter-mile times, and braking distances. For just such occasions, Mercedes renders the S63's race start function simpler to access. Mash the brake pedal together with your left foot while flooring the accelerator with the right. Make use of the shift paddles to boost or reduce the engine revs before releasing the brake. An energizing comfort menu provides create an enclosed ambience via audio, lighting, seat massaging, and fragrance. The choices are refresh, vitality, joy, well-being, and training. Our drive partner with the media event vetoed joy, therefore we tried well-being. But that enthusiastic the seat heaters, not ideal on the summer day, along with the fragrance was overpowering. We switched to vitality but hated the tunes the device also can pull through your own music collection, provided the beats for each minute are appropriate. We completed the entire content of our drive devoid of the benefit of energizing comfort. Cast looking away in the screens along with the cabin is basically the same. Rich environment good now, together with the main changes as being a switch to some 3-spoke leader within the S63. It gets to be a squared-off rim covered with leather and micro-suede and a fresh standard inductive charging pad around the center console as well as an optional second one inside rear. Both the S560 and S63 we drove were dolled up with Nappa leather interiors from Benz's exclusive collection, which has a two-tone color scheme, perforated leather in a very diamond pattern, and carbon fiber trim with brushed metal accents. No Greyhound ever seemed like this inside. Nor maybe it was as comfortable, even with no snoring vagrant inside the next seat. But the 2018 S-Class does take another step on the path of turning drivers into passengers. It's just doing so on the far opposite end in the socio-economic scale.